this is Douglas Bedford from Passive Movement Marketing, and today I wanted to share something with you really quickly. So, this is the first thing you should do to guarantee book dental appointments during a reopening. Let me start off with before the pandemic, I was working with a few, actually three dental clients, but because of the emergency, everything had to shut down. Here we are, a few weeks away from some places in the U.S. getting ready to reopen, and before before that happened, I wanted to create a strategy, and so far, so good. The strategy I created helps people research, create, promote, and collect data before they put out their marketing, um, before they put out any sort of marketing, before they put out any sort of advertisement for their dental practice. And the one main component in the research part of this actual strategy is sending out a survey. So, surveys are a way to understand your market before you have to spend any ad dollars, before you have to worry about exactly where your customers are at or where your soon to be new patients are at, before you offer your services for them. When I mean where they're at, I mean what do they fear, what do they desire, what do they want from your dental practice. Are they in pain? Do they want something like vanity work and cleaning? Or maybe they've been putting off Invisalign or braces or something to that effect. You want to know where a majority of your local market is at. So that's what I mean by where they're at. And a survey is like, as you can see from this picture here, if you're watching the podcast on YouTube right now, or if you're listening, it's like knowing where you want to dig your hole. And speaking of digging a hole, probably right now where you're at in your business, you don't have too many resources to actually market um, to your local market. You've probably want to spend the minimal amount of money, maybe want to spend a lot of money to promote the reopening of your dental practice. Well, the best way to do that is to know exactly what your customers, your new patients want. And that's why the survey is so important. It's like knowing exactly where to dig and where to put all your efforts to bring that market to your business. I was doing some research, and there's this story of I don't know if you're familiar with the brand GoPro, but it's kind of like this digital camera that you're able to record extreme sports or scenic outside exploring. I'm pretty sure you've heard of GoPro. Well, at the time, they pretty much dominated the U.S. market, but they were trying to figure out what next country to go to. So they actually used a survey. They actually used SurveyMonkey, online type of survey platform, to send all these surveys out to their customers and to different countries. And based upon their response, they were able to know which next country they were able to go to. Now, you might be thinking, what does it have to do with my dental practice? If you're watching at home, there's a model that I created to kind of show you how it would work specifically for your dental practice. Now, again, if you're listening on the podcast, if you go to the show notes that are on my passivemovement.com website, that should be up in a few days after this podcast, or if you're watching already on YouTube, you should see this diagram that I've drawn out. But when you send your survey out, it represents your dental practice. And you want to send it out to two people or two groups. Your current patients, and you could do that through either email or any other form of way of contacting. Email is probably the best. Excuse me. And The second group is your local market, and you can do that through best route to do that is probably paid advertisement around your local area. If you do that, you ask questions to figure out what is the current fears that your patients have. This could be their dental care of maybe they were coming in for surgery, or maybe they're afraid to come to the dental practice because of COVID. But you figure all that stuff out. And then you ask questions to figure out their desire. Like they want their teeth to feel white again. I've did a little bit of research before, and I know that a lot of people are snacking at home, and because of that, that has a sort of erosion on their teeth due to like chewing carbohydrates and sugar and not brushing your teeth enough. That causes dental damage. So just figuring out what people want, like what their desires are in these surveys, and then once you get that information, two things happen. One, the people that respond are automatically interested in your dental practice. If you think about it, if they took the time to actually answer a survey, that means that you have a open communication to offer them something else. This could be a free teeth whitening, whatever. You could get creative with this, but that's one aspect that's really cool about a survey from the response. But the main thing that you get is one, you sent it to your current patients, you understand what they want, and you can offer them something. Two, the fact that you've now asked a local market that was unfamiliar with you, that are now familiar with you, and they're telling you exactly what they want. You can then remarket to them with exactly what your business, your dental practice has to offer. So you get a clear marketing message, and then from that clear marketing message, you then have the means or the ammunition, but you have the means to then send to book those people as new appointments based upon the information that you've gotten from them. So again, if you are watching or looking at this diagram or listening, you send the survey out and to either your current patients through email or through kind of a paid advertisement. You could do this through Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. You send a survey out, and then to your local market based upon your area. And then that information comes back to you. From that information, you're able to create a clear marketing message of where your patients and where your future patients are at in their life. And based upon knowing where they're at in their life, you can repeat their message right back to them with, again, advertisements, forms of lead magnets being a checklist or small digital informational packages that address people's fears or help them with their desires of what they want. And then you are one step closer to booking new appointments with your patients. So I want to show you right now, or let you know about a couple of a little bit of technology that's out there to actually help you create surveys. The free one that's really amazing that most people forget about, it's Google Forms. You're able to create quick surveys, and then that information can then be sent to a Google Sheet, and then you can segment your information and know exactly what people, the responses from the people that you've gotten from your patients. The next one is Typeform. This one is a paid service. It costs about $39 a month, but it's a little bit more creative. If you have the know-how and want a little bit of style, I would try that one. The one that I mentioned before is SurveyMonkey, which is a really cool one. And again, that's where I got the story of GoPro figuring out how surveys were used to help them find the next global market they're into. Now, again, for your dental practice, you can figure out which service that you can put forward that people might want, whether it's, again, like teeth whitening, teeth cleaning, or maybe there's a lot of people with children in your area and they want to get their children's teeth taken care of. There's just so many different options based upon the information that you get from the survey. Um, to get back to the technology that's out there, Airtable is another good one. But if you're not familiar with creating forms or you don't have a service, I would try Google Forms. It's the easiest to learn. And then you're able to figure out, again, what to offer. And another thing that you get from the surveys that you create is what content that you want to create. Recently, I created a free 5-day content creation system that you can use for your Instagram account if you are a dental practice or a doctor that uses Instagram. It's a free 5-day kind of challenge to create engaging content with your customers or with your patients. Um, if you were able to send out that survey first, then you know exactly what type of content you could create. And in this course, I kind of go over exactly how to create the content, how to find pictures. But if you're interested in that, you can go to passivemovement.com/content growth, and that will also be in the show notes. Or if you go to passivemovement.com, there will be a link for the free course. But enough about that. That's enough of a shameless plug. Um, but surveys, figure out exactly what your customers want and what their needs are and what they're afraid of. And it positions you as a practice that cares, and it positions your marketing message when you're ready to promote it exactly in front of your patients or new patients' problems. So this is Douglas Bedford from Passive Movement Marketing saying thank you, and get your surveys out there.